Hello viewers. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the tradition of Kabuki Theatre. Firstly, I am going to introduce you to the beautiful tradition of Kabuki Theatre. Kabuki had a very humble beginning in about 1603 throughout Japan. The initial performances were done by women and were extremely vulgar. Subsequently, women were forbidden to perform in Kabuki theatres. Kabuki theatre developed between 1675 and 1759 and evolved its characteristics gradually. In those times, the plays usually lasted about 12 hours. The play length was reduced to 8 hours in length in 1868. Many important elements of the dramatic art in Japan are highly influenced by Chinese theatre tradition. Mostly, the story material is obviously the same, and there is great similarity in the methods of presentation. Evolution of Kabuki. Two periods of brilliance in Japan and two distinct types of theatre are worth mentioning, and those are the aristocratic and the popular. The former is associated with the famous No plays that reached to its perfection during the 14th century. During the period of Ashikaga shogunate, Kyoto was the center of luxury and cultural activity among the wealthy people, and of increasingly licentious revelry among high and low alike. This era, known as the Muromachi period, is notable for an increase in Chinese influence and an awareness for education among the priesthood. Soft arts such as tea ceremony, incense judging, and flower arrangement were popular among the leisured. No theatre during this period was brought to a certain level of perfection and exercised a high influence over the warrior class in particular. None of these apparently noble arts, however, was able to check the social evils which grew up, especially during the later years of shogunate, in part because of the strict isolation of the sexes demanded by Buddhism and its failure to bring matters of sex under the religious toughness. Okuni's influence. Somewhere about the end of the 16th century came a dancing girl known to us as Okuni of Izumo. Her presence in Kyoto is traditionally explained by the supposition that she may have been on a tour seeking contributions for a shrine. However, she met with such a warm welcome in Kyoto that she remained in Kyoto to be identified with a new dramatic movement arising and showing popular faith of common people in entertainment. Okuni's Kagura seems to have been a form of Buddhist prayer, a dance of worship in praise of God Amida. Okuni's reception on the Kyoto riverbeds may well have been due more to her physical beauty and grace of movement than to any appeal in the interests of religion. In about 1596, she was seen by a man named Sanzaburo, who had been sent by his family to be trained for the priesthood in the Kenin temple, one of the famous 5 temples in the Kyoto. This youth of a military family had no fondness for the boring details of religion, but led a life of social freedom and was popularly known for excellence in social arts. He liked Okuni, but found her graceful dancing too restrained to satisfy his taste. Apparently, without difficulty, he influenced her to greater abandon and taught her to dance the popular songs of the day to the tune of his own compositions. This was Kabuki, a slang designation of the time, later to be dignified by the use of written characters signifying the art of song and dance. Two trained artists broke away from the bonds of dramatic custom and bringing upon the best possible material that was appealing to the masses. They made another beginning which is now to be traced through developing forms onto the modern drama of Japan. The earlier name for Kabuki, the art of song and dance, was Onna Kabuki. Although as her religious chants gave place to popular folk songs, she wore the costumes of men and acted like them. Okuni soon acquired about a group of players, women, children, and men in the garb of women. By the years 1603, 1604, Okuni became very popular and had established stages in various parts of the countryside. Her plays were related to the common people, but she soon attracted the attention of the nobility. She was invited to play at the residence of the shogun. Record shows of at least one invitation to play before the imperial court. Such success led to imitation, and the number of Kabuki playhouses multiplied. In spite of occasional signs of royal favors, Kabuki remained essentially an entertainment of the common people, in reality a protest against social and dramatic conventions. People who were devoted to its interests were men without a decent employment and prostitutes. Huge immorality and unbridled licentiousness made it the enemy of the society. In 1608, official order confined it to the outskirts of the cities. Onna Kabuki was strictly prohibited in 1629 because of its immoral influence, possibly because of it also being a hotbed of dangerous thoughts and popular freedom. Sensing the doom of Ona Kabuki Dansuke, who had been conducting a company of women, founded the first company consisting male actors only. Men, especially young men, had played in Ona Kabuki, and it probably was not difficult to build up a company from these people. As women were forbidden the stage, young men playing female parts held a monopoly. For this reason, the new companies and their plays were known as Wakashu Kabuki. To compensate for the absence of women upon the stage, greater attention was given towards costume and scenery, and the plays appear to have retained their full measure of popular flavor. In 1644, when Wakashu Kabuki was most popular, official prohibition was renewed to stop the employment and training of young boys. The main objection was that these people were undermining the morals of the warrior class, and in 1652 this second type of kabuki was banned. Kabuki refused to be destroyed. Older men continued the kabuki tradition of freedom of expression. This development brings about the another form of kabuki, the Yara Kabuki, which enriched its presentations with the music and the inclusion of better dramatic material to enhance its richness. In the material thus brought into use upon the kabuki stage, the four main qualities that have been emerged are: there are historical plays, plays of common life, plays of unrestrained action, pantomimic plays. In all earlier forms of the Japanese drama, the liturgics requirement on one hand and the will of the author upon the other governed the stage. For the first time, the actor started to take control. Not composition, but presentation was the problem of the kabuki stage. With the development of the Yara Kabuki, actors begin to train themselves for specific parts. In the earlier kabuki, men had often played the part of women, but now, when it had become necessary that they should do so, a professional class of female actors grew into prominence. Attention to technique and pride in accomplishment secured marked results, and individual actors established family claims to certain roles. Dramatic quality of a highest order was preferred in place of personal grace and sex appeal upon the kabuki stage. The history of Kabuki theatre needs to be scrutinized more carefully. Kabuki, without any patronage and amid vulgarity, could bring out a form of drama so generally satisfactory that one can but wonder what might have been its achievement had it received encouragement in freedom and guidance in art. Kabuki costumes. Kabuki costumes are the focal point of any kabuki play. Kabuki actors were responsible for providing their own costumes. Once they became too elaborate, the actors began to demand the purchase of their costumes from the royalty. Over the years, these costumes remains the same. In this day and age, there is a little freedom on colors and patterns, but not on the style of the costumes. The upper and lower parts of the kimono are two separate pieces concealed by a wide sash for easy costume changes on stage. When a performer changes on stage, the costume color may change and design may change, but the pattern on the material remains the same. The consistency of the pattern is indicative of Kabuki theatre, as a major portion of Kabuki is constant awareness of the actor. This never changing pattern is a harsh reminder to the audience that the actor is the same. To change the costume, strings are pulled from the kimono to reverse the outfit. Traditional dressing of major Kabuki characters makes them easily recognizable. Various characters and makeup. The Red Princess, a tattooed thief, white-robed monks, elaborately costumed courtesans, a black-hatted court noble are identifiable by the distinctive costumes of their class. A housewife would never wear bold patterns, as bold patterns usually symbolize a courtesan. Kabuki remained particularly an entertainment and in reality a protest against social norms as well as dramatic conventions, which involves bold lines in red and blue painted on the face. The red lines projects virtue or strength, while the blue lines are associated with evil. Ghosts and certain animal roles also involve kumadori makeup. The kumadori is used to not to hide emotions, but to highlight the expression of the actors. The makeup is applied to follow the natural lines of the face to show expression with great clarity and force. 27 known types of kumadori exist. An angry warrior is shown with bold black curves for eyebrows, with broad graded lines of red, which curve upward from the nose and brow and around the cheek. The young and handsome hero is identified by two spatula-shaped eyebrows. Red lines under the eyes curve up to meet the outer lips of the eyebrows. The top lip is outlined in a thin curve in red with a touch of black at each corner. When in the process of applying makeup, the actor puts on a silk cap that fits tightly around the forehead. This is both the foundation for the wig as well as a way to hide the hair and smooth down the forehead. The foundation is made of oil and this covers the face, neck and front of the silk cap. A white matte makeup is applied to cause a smooth surface. As soon as the white cream makeup is applied, the actor draws the eyebrows and lips with the color design for his character. The Kabuki wigs have no equal in the world of theatre traditions. Most of the wigs are made of black hair. However, they do vary in accordance with age, sex, social class and status. The white wigs are used for supernatural beings such as ghosts. A change in wigs that a particular character may be using is intended to express a rise in emotions as well as project a psychological change. The tradition of wearing a wig emerged from the era of younger boys portraying the characters in Kabuki plays. The young boys would have to show a part of their head to project their virility. In 1648, when it became illegal to be a male prostitute, the actor began to wear a piece of cloth over his head to cover the bald spot. This was later replaced by a dark purple silk patch to give the illusion of hair. This was replaced by wigs and a new tradition began. There are 84 types of wigs that have been clearly identified and labeled. Every part of the wig has a different name. The parts of the wig are the hair above the forehead, the bin, the sweep of hair at either side of the face, the taboo, the coil of hair in the nape of the neck, the image, the knot of hair on top of the head. When these are combined in different combinations, it gives a distinct look to each character. Many important elements of the dramatic art in Japan are similar to Chinese theatre tradition. In many cases, the story material are the same. There is great similarity in the methods of producing and acting in Kabuki theatre. The 14th and 18th centuries were two periods of brilliance in Japanese Kabuki theatre and two distinct types of theatre. The aristocratic and the popular, the former is associated with the famous No plays and Kabuki is associated with the latter. Kabuki, the art of song and dance, was initially called Onna Kabuki. Kabuki remained particularly an entertainment and in reality a protest against social norms as well as dramatic conventions, which involves bold lines in red and blue painted on the face. The wigs of Kabuki have no equal in theatre traditions. A change in wigs that a particular character may be using is intended to express a rise in emotions as well as project a psychological change. I think you must have gained in knowledge and understanding about the tradition of Kabuki. It will definitely help you to appreciate this wonderful tradition. See you for the next part on the same topic. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.